各位觀眾，你哋好，我係頭條開 Live 教育 CEO 系列嘅主持 Jennifer Ma。我哋今日好榮幸請到 Kellett School 啟力學校嘅校長 Principal Mark Steed 做我哋嘅嘉賓。呢間學校被譽為香港版嘅倫敦私立日校。咁呢間學校有啲乜嘢特色呢？我哋今日就會同 Principal Mark Steed 去解構一下啦。Principal Steed, welcome to our show.
It's great to be here, thank you.
So Kellett School is quite special because many schools over the past decade have switched from A-levels to IB in Hong Kong. So is there any plan for Kellett to switch to another curriculum or why do you advocate the A-level system so much?
Well, I think the A-level systems, the two systems are very different. Yeah. IB fills all your time. Yeah. It's a really good program. There are the 3 hires, three standards, and so on. It's a very full program, but it doesn't really allow you to do other things. So one of the advantages of the A-level system is it allows you to put in other aspects that aren't necessarily examined, but that are a really important part of the education, like the sixth form MVA program, like our wellbeing program, which is Positively Kellett, which is a really important part of what we do. We also do an extended project, which is like a sort of university style essay, which is again part of it. So those things are really important, but it also allows the students who've got time to explore other areas as well, so that they can develop. And I think if you're a very high performing school, then in order to get sort of students into places like the Ivy League colleges or into Oxford and Cambridge, you need time to be able to explore and develop intellectual curiosity. And it's not all tied down in the curriculum, so we have to have space to do that. We're very committed to it, and we're very committed to offering A-level within Hong Kong. It is increasingly rare, but I think we do it very well. I mean, we've got some of the best A-level results in the world,
right?
And so it's we are able to get people into top institutions, and and that's what we're aiming to do, is to sort of get people on to the next stage and prepare them properly for it.
So over the past year and a half, we have seen, even in my capacity in education, I see lots of parents reconsidering going abroad to study, perhaps because of COVID concerns, or they feel actually schools in Hong Kong are pretty adequate. Have you seen a surge in interest coming from, in particular, local school parents looking to switch into international school education?
We've seen a huge rise in demand in the school. The school's always been popular, but I think it's partly because the school's got to a level of maturity now. We've got, we've been growing over the past 7-8 years, and we're now got to the point where we're sort of full size
and great facility as well.
Yeah, we've got fantastic facilities here, and we've got a new sixth form centre being built in over the summer. That's going to improve what we've got. We've got a new library going in. We're looking to sort of upgrade those so they're less traditional and a bit more like a university style sort of learning space. Those sorts of things I think are looking at what we're doing, but also I think one of the reasons people are looking at it is because we've got a broader view of education in the way that the UK schools do. So we've got a very, very strong co-curricular programme, very strong sport, music, drama, in terms of public service, in terms of outdoor education. All of those are really important parts of the education here. And they're traditionally things that people have sort of gone to the UK to boarding schools for. So I think Kellett is a really good offering of what it is to have a sort of classic UK independent school education, but without having to go to the UK for it. The majority of our students, over 50%, go back to the UK, and they'll go back. But that's because we've got a large British contingent within the school. About half our students, are UK passport holders. So. But we do send students all over the world to top institutions around the world, and including to the Ivy League and to Canada and top institutions there. And I think that's a really important part of how we're going to develop. I've recently appointed someone to the staff who is responsible for university entrance to the sort of top 20 or so universities in the world, sort of elite university entries, the ones where it's sort of really competitive to get in. And we've got a pathway for those students so that we're bringing that back to when they're sort of 14 or 15, so that we actually can work on a pathway. Because you know, to get into an Ivy League school or to get into Oxford and Cambridge, you need to have a different skill set than just getting into a Russell Group university. It's not just about a set of A-levels.
Because everyone has those.
They're a given.
Yeah.
And it's about having a sort of the ability to make connections, it's the ability to think critically, it's the ability to argue on your feet.
Shouldn't education be positive anyway? So why is it special to be positively Kellett? What elements do you have in this special wellness program?
You know, young people face challenges that I didn't face as a child. They've got mobile phones, they've got all sorts of devices that they're on, they've got social media pressures and so on. So there is this whole culture, this work culture, and with that's come a whole range of mental health issues. Now what we've had to do then is to put in place a program that helps young people cope with that. And so we have a program which specialises in teaching them strategies for looking after their own well-being. So if I give you a really simple example, so young people tend to catastrophize. They tend to always look for the worst. You know, something a little bit goes wrong and it's ruined their life. And
more dramatic.
They're never going to be the same. They're terribly dramatic. So they always go for this worst case scenario over here. But so what we do as a technique is we teach the students to say, well, look, that's the worst case scenario. So what's the best case scenario? What could really happen here? Well, I might not have messed up my exam. I may still get my place in university. You know, it could all be happy. I will live a happy and fulfilled life. And then you look at the most likely scenario. So you go sort of best case, worst case, best case, most likely case. And that sort of technique is a really good technique to embed, and we do it over a number of years where we're trying to sort of get them used to dealing with
in different contexts as well.
In different contexts,
And I heard about the MBA program for the sixth form. Can you tell us a little bit more about the MBA program?
Yes, so what we're doing is, obviously every student does the 3 A-levels, but we're also doing a sixth form MBA program. So it breaks down into very different modules, which I think are useful for them to understand the world of work. So there's a module on impact and presence, and the public speaking is part of that. So
impact and presence.
Yeah, so how they present themselves in different contexts. So preparing them for a formal interview, or whether they're doing a presentation, or whether they're just in a conversation in an adult situation, those sorts of things. So how they come across as individuals, what impact do they have on other people in an interview situation?
That's really interesting because it involves a lot of self-reflection in the process.
And again, that was one of these ideas that we took from the MBA programs in the UK, where that impact and presence is a very important part of it.